Metroidvania fans, this one's for you. Today, we're diving into a collection of stunning 2D adventures, games filled with tight combat, emotional storytelling, and beautifully interconnected worlds that'll pull you in and never let go. From haunting gothic journeys to heartwarming tales of discovery, these are some of the best Metroidvania and side-scrolling masterpieces you absolutely need to experience. So grab your controller, get ready to explore hidden paths and epic boss fights, and don't forget to subscribe if you love discovering incredible games like these. Let's jump right in. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight tops this list because it nails every Metroidvania beat while quietly redefining the genre. Think about it. If Metroid and Castlevania weren't already legends, we'd probably be calling every exploration action game a Hollow Knight-like instead. The game is lean, packed, and absolutely flawless. Its world is huge and lush, hiding unforgettable bosses behind clever, intuitive progression. Combat and platforming feel effortless in your hands, and the charm system gives you real freedom to tweak your playstyle. Every frame of the hand-drawn art is meticulous, and the soundtrack hits hard, pulling you deep into its melancholy world. It's no wonder so many modern games borrow its mechanics, and why fans of Silksong are so rabid for more Hollow Knight isn't just excellent, it's influential in ways you can feel with every jump and strike. Blasphemous 2. Over the last 35 years, hundreds of Metroidvanias have hit consoles and PCs, but only a few really stick with you. The ones with sprawling worlds full of secrets, combat that challenges and excites, and environments you want to explore again and again. Blasphemous 2 is one of those games. It takes the brutal combat and eerie atmosphere of the first game and pushes it even further, pulling heavily from Spanish Catholic imagery to create a world that's both beautiful and deeply unsettling. Released in 2023, it's packed with wild, unforgettable set pieces. One of the biggest additions this time around is the weapon system. Instead of sticking with a single blade, you can swap between 3 distinct weapons, each with unique movement options and combo styles. The difficulty hits hard without ever feeling cheap, and the art direction is absolutely jaw-dropping. Fans of the original will notice plenty of clever callbacks and nods, but even if you've never touched Blasphemous before, this one's worth diving into. Nine Sols. Nine Sols is one of those rare games that feels instantly special. A hand-drawn 2D action platformer that blends slick Metroidvania exploration with precise Sekiro-style deflect combat. You play as Yi, a vengeful hero returning to a fallen world once ruled by powerful beings known as the Souls. Every encounter pushes you to stay sharp. Attacks hit fast, and learning to parry at just the right moment becomes the difference between life and death. The world itself is steeped in East Asian mythology and sci-fi elements, blending cyberpunk tech with ancient Taoist mysticism. Each region you explore is hauntingly beautiful, packed with secrets, lore fragments, and hidden shortcuts that reward curiosity. The hand-drawn art and fluid animations make every moment mesmerizing, while the emotional story slowly unravels layer by layer. It's tough, stylish, and surprisingly heartfelt. A Metroidvania that doesn't just test your skill, but sticks with you long after the credits roll. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori and the Blind Forest was already stunning, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps takes everything to another level. This might just be the best feeling 2D game ever made. The platforming is silky smooth, and it's remarkable how the visuals and music manage to hit such emotional heights while keeping gameplay razor sharp. From the first jump to the final boss, everything flows beautifully. There's so much to love. The adorable characters, the largely wordless storytelling, and a world that feels alive in every frame. The combat has been refined, the platforming tightened, and those frustrating difficulty spikes from the first game have been smoothed out. Every upgrade feels meaningful, every area worth exploring. Will of the Wisps is pure kinetic joy, a perfect blend of art, sound, and gameplay that keeps your eyes, ears, and thumbs glued to the screen. It's easily one of the most polished and emotionally resonant Metroidvanias ever made. Axiom Verge 2. Axiom Verge 2 drops you into a strange alien world as Indra Chatri, a billionaire CEO on a mission to find her missing daughter. What follows is an eerie, atmospheric journey packed with mystery and clever design. Instead of relying solely on traditional combat, the game gives you glitched power tools that let you hack enemies and objects, turning foes into allies, manipulating the environment, and uncovering hidden paths in unexpected ways. The world is massive and layered, full of twisting corridors, secret rooms, and puzzles that make exploration feel genuinely rewarding. Each area has its own bizarre aesthetic, and the haunting soundtrack perfectly captures that otherworldly tone. While the combat isn't as intense as the first game, the focus on hacking and environmental interaction adds a refreshing twist. The boss fights are inventive, often forcing you to think strategically rather than just attack. Axiom Verge 2 is a unique, cerebral Metroidvania that rewards curiosity and rewards players who love to explore every corner. Tales of Kenzera Zao. Tales of Kenzera Zao hits harder than most games in the genre, blending deep exploration with a raw emotional story about grief, all told through the lens of African culture and mythology. You play as Zao, a young shaman on a journey to bring his father back from the dead, guided by the god of death himself. It's not just something you play, it's something you feel. The combat is surprisingly deep and fluid. Switching masks mid-attack opens up satisfying combos, giving every encounter rhythm and weight. The visuals are vibrant, the voice acting heartfelt, and the soundtrack perfectly complements the game's emotional core. Like all great Metroidvanias, it rewards curiosity. Every collectible and hidden path feels worth the effort, and the challenge areas truly test your mastery without ever feeling unfair. Tales of Kenzera Zao isn't just another entry in a crowded genre. It's a heartfelt, standout experience that lingers with you long after you put the controller down. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is one of those rare games that seem to master everything it touches. One of the best procedural video games, one of the best Metroidvanias, one of the best indies, period. It's a fast, fluid action platformer that never stops evolving, with new content constantly expanding its already massive world. Every run feels fresh thanks to an absurd variety of weapons, powers, and builds, all tied together by tight, responsive combat that's as satisfying as it is punishing. What really makes Dead Cells special is its focus on gameplay above all else. You'll spend hours scouring every last room for hidden lore, blueprints, and secrets, but there's never any pressure, just the joy of discovery. Boss fights demand precision and attention, and every victory feels earned. It's the kind of game where hundreds of hours can pass, and you'll still feel like you've only scratched the surface. Dead Cells is a masterclass in design, endlessly replayable, brutally fair, and absolutely addictive. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown delivers a sprawling world and a clever twist on the Metroidvania formula that makes it feel both familiar and fresh. The combat is surprisingly deep, with smooth combos, slick dodges, and perfectly timed counters that reward precision. Add in the game's time-bending powers, from air dashes to interdimensional portals, and every encounter feels dynamic and strategic. One of the smartest touches is the ability to capture screenshots of hard-to-reach upgrades, letting you plan your backtracking without losing your mind. Each biome is distinct and beautifully crafted, filled with secrets and environmental storytelling that make exploration genuinely rewarding. A post-game update even added advanced platforming challenges to push your skills even further. Unfortunately, despite how polished and ambitious it is, Ubisoft disbanded the team after missing sales targets. And honestly, The Lost Crown deserved so much better. It's one of the most refined and enjoyable Metroidvanias in recent years. Blade Chimera. Blade Chimera slices into the Metroidvania genre with a style all its own. Neon-soaked cyberpunk visuals, fast-paced sword combat, and a story that mixes technology, memory, and identity into something truly gripping. You play as Shin, a demon hunter battling both monsters and the ghosts of his past in a city overrun by corruption and chaos. From the very first fight, the game demands precision and rhythm. Every slash, dodge, and combo feels sharp and deliberate. The big hook here is the time rewind mechanic tied to your weapon, the Lumina Sword. You can restore broken structures, create temporary platforms, and manipulate the world in creative ways that completely change how you explore. The world design is tight and interconnected, encouraging you to experiment and revisit areas as you gain new powers. Add in striking pixel art, smooth animations, and an electrifying soundtrack, and Blade Chimera stands out as one of the freshest, most visually stunning Metroidvanias in years, a perfect fusion of style and substance. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights is one of those hidden gems that quietly took the Metroidvania community by storm. It dropped with little fanfare, yet it stands tall as one of the most atmospheric and emotionally charged games in the genre. You play as Lily, a young priestess navigating a cursed, rain-soaked kingdom haunted by fallen warriors. The tone is melancholic and haunting, with every corner dripping in mystery and sorrow. Combat has its own unique twist. Instead of wielding traditional weapons, you summon purified spirits of fallen knights to fight for you. Each spirit comes with its own abilities and attack styles, allowing you to mix and match builds for different situations. The boss fights hit hard, but never feel unfair, and the game's somber music and hand-painted visuals create an unforgettable experience. It's a world that feels both tragic and beautiful, and by the end, you'll realize that Ender Lilies isn't just another Metroidvania, it's one of the most heartfelt and haunting journeys you can play. Record of LODOSS War DEEDLIT in Wonder Labyrinth. If you grew up on classics like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Record of LODOSS War DEEDLIT in Wonder Labyrinth will feel instantly familiar, in the best possible way. Developed by Team Ladybug and published by Playism, this gorgeous pixel art Metroidvania puts you in the shoes of DEEDLIT, an elven warrior trapped in a mysterious labyrinth. Armed with elemental spirits of fire and wind, you'll swap between them to solve puzzles, enhance mobility, and tear through enemies in fast, satisfying combat. It proudly wears its Symphony of the Night inspiration on its sleeve. Sprawling exploration-heavy maps, a huge arsenal of weapons, and cleverly layered level design. The sprite work is fluid and detailed, and the soundtrack fits perfectly with the game's magical tone. While the story can be a bit murky, especially if you're not familiar with the 90s anime it's based on, the action more than makes up for it. For fans of classic Metroidvanias, DEEDLIT and Wonder Labyrinth feels like a love letter to the golden era of the genre, polished, nostalgic, and endlessly satisfying. Metroid Dread. The queen of the Metroidvania genre returned in full force with Metroid Dread, a masterclass in exploration, tension, and design. Set after the events of Metroid Fusion, this game thrusts Samus Aran into the mysterious planet ZDR, a labyrinth crawling with alien life and relentless robotic predators known as EMMI. What makes Dread stand out is its razor-sharp pacing and perfect balance between freedom and guidance. Every new ability you unlock, from the Morph Ball to the Speed Booster, opens up fresh areas to explore and cleverly hidden secrets to uncover the EMMI zones, meanwhile transform the atmosphere into pure survival horror, keeping your pulse racing as you dash for safety. The game's 2.5D presentation looks stunning, combining crisp animations with detailed backdrops that ooze sci-fi atmosphere. The boss fights are some of the best in the series, fast, demanding, and incredibly rewarding, once you master their patterns. Metroid Dread is proof that even after decades, the formula Nintendo helped pioneer still feels cutting edge. It's an exhilarating journey that celebrates everything fans love about the genre while adding a modern edge that makes it impossible to put down. Owlboy. Owlboy is a stunning pixel art masterpiece that feels like a love letter to the golden age of 2D adventure games. Developed by D-Pad Studio, this game took nearly a decade to create, and you can feel that dedication in every frame, every animation, and every emotional moment. You play as LODOSS, a mute owl struggling to prove himself in a floating world torn between beauty and danger. The story, though simple on the surface, hits surprisingly deep. It's about friendship, courage, and finding your voice, even when you literally don't have one. LODOSS's companions each bring their own personality and abilities, which you'll use creatively to solve puzzles and tackle combat in midair. Where Owlboy truly shines is its art and music. Every environment feels hand-painted, bursting with color and atmosphere, while the orchestral soundtrack swells with emotional resonance. The flight mechanics are buttery smooth, making exploration feel like soaring through a painting. But beyond its technical beauty, Owlboy is heartfelt, a game that wears its emotions proudly and reminds you that heroism isn't about strength, but about heart. It's a rare indie gem that blends old-school soul with modern storytelling, leaving you deeply moved when the credits roll. Blasphemous. Blasphemous is dark, brutal, and absolutely mesmerizing. A twisted blend of gothic art, unforgiving combat, and deep religious symbolism that'll leave a lasting mark on your soul. Developed by the Game Kitchen, this grim Metroidvania plunges you into the cursed land of Sevastodia, a world dripping with guilt, blood, and divine punishment. You play as the Penitent One, a silent warrior on a pilgrimage of suffering, seeking redemption through relentless combat and ritualistic penance. The story is layered with cryptic lore and religious imagery. Every statue, every grotesque enemy, and every haunting line of dialogue hints at a world punished by faith gone wrong. Gameplay-wise, Blasphemous feels tight and punishing in the best way. Each slash, parry, and dodge demands precision, while the interconnected world rewards exploration and persistence. The boss fights? Absolutely jaw-dropping, grotesque, symbolic, and epic in scale, pushing both your reflexes and your curiosity. But what makes Blasphemous unforgettable is its atmosphere. The pixel art is breathtakingly detailed, filled with pain and beauty in equal measure, while the soundtrack amplifies that sense of divine tragedy. It's a game that doesn't just challenge your skills, it makes you feel the weight of every sin and victory. If you crave dark, artistic, and deeply thematic experiences, Blasphemous isn't just a game, it's a revelation. Animal Well. Animal Well is one of those games that grabs your curiosity and refuses to let go. Developed by solo creator Billy Basso, it's a mysterious pixel art Metroidvania that thrives on atmosphere, discovery, and pure wonder. There's no combat, no dialogue, just you, your wits, and a labyrinthine world filled with strange creatures and hidden secrets. You awaken in a dimly lit underground world, an ecosystem teeming with both beauty and unease. Every corner holds something unexpected, whether it's a glowing puzzle, a hidden pathway, or an animal whose behavior might help or hinder you. The game doesn't tell you what to do, and that's the magic. You learn through observation, experimentation, and that nostalgic sense of, what happens if I try this? The visuals are deceptively simple but incredibly atmospheric. The lighting, the colors, and the subtle animations breathe life into every pixel. And the sound design? Hauntingly immersive. Every drip, chirp, and echo makes the world feel alive and unpredictable. What really makes Animal Well special is its mystery. It rewards curiosity over combat, patience over power. It's the kind of game where players will still be uncovering secrets years after release. If you love exploration, environmental storytelling, and the quiet thrill of discovery, Animal Well is an unforgettable experience that proves sometimes silence speaks the loudest. Before we jump into the final few games, if you're loving this list so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. There are plenty more hidden gems coming your way. SteamWorld Dig. SteamWorld Dig is one of those games that's simple on the surface but surprisingly addictive once you start digging in. Literally developed by Image and Form, this steampunk-inspired Metroidvania puts you in the boots of Rusty, a lone steambot miner who inherits a mysterious old mine in a dusty frontier town. The core gameplay loop is beautifully straightforward. You dig, discover, upgrade, and repeat, but it's so satisfying. Every swing of your pickaxe reveals new treasures, hidden caves, and deeper mysteries buried beneath the earth. As you descend, you'll upgrade your gear, unlock new abilities, and face tougher enemies, all while uncovering the truth behind the mine's ancient secrets. What makes SteamWorld Dig shine is its flow. The rhythm of mining, selling resources, and improving your tools creates a perfect gameplay loop that's both relaxing and rewarding. The level design encourages exploration without overwhelming you, making every run underground feel like a fresh adventure. Visually, the game's charming art style and steampunk vibe give it tons of character, while the quirky humor of its robotic cast keeps things lighthearted between all the digging and danger. SteamWorld Dig might not have the sprawling complexity of other Metroidvanias, but it nails what it sets out to do, offering a tight, fun, and endlessly replayable experience. It's proof that sometimes striking gold isn't about size, it's about polish and heart. YOKU'S Island Express. YOKU'S Island Express is one of the most joyful and refreshing twists on the Metroidvania genre you'll ever play. Developed by Villa Gorilla, it takes two things that shouldn't work together, pinball and open-world exploration, and somehow blends them into pure creative magic. You play as YOKU, a tiny dung beetle who just became the new postmaster on a sunny tropical island. Instead of jumping or attacking, you roll and bounce YOKU's ball through a vibrant, interconnected world powered by pinball mechanics, flippers, bumpers, and ramps replace traditional platforming, turning exploration into a fast-paced, physics-driven playground. The result? A game that feels endlessly fun and soothing. Every area is bursting with personality, from lush jungles to mysterious caves, all connected by clever pinball lanes that encourage fluid movement and creative thinking. The puzzles are smartly designed, and the sense of discovery never fades as you unlock shortcuts and uncover secrets. What really sets YOKU'S Island Express apart is its tone. The world is cheerful, the music is uplifting, and the story has just enough heart to make you care about the quirky island inhabitants. It's one of those rare games that leaves you smiling from start to finish. If you want something lighthearted yet brilliantly inventive, YOKU'S Island Express delivers an unforgettable experience, proof that even the strangest ideas can roll into perfection. Iconoclasts. Iconoclasts is a beautifully crafted, story-driven Metroidvania that combines tight gameplay with heartfelt storytelling and gorgeous pixel art. Developed entirely by one person, Joachim Sandberg, it's a labor of love that balances action, puzzle solving, and emotional depth in a way few games do. You play as Robin, a kind-hearted mechanic living in a world where tinkering with machinery is forbidden by a strict religious regime. But Robin's determination to help others, and her refusal to obey oppressive laws, sets off a chain of events that spiral into something far bigger than she ever imagined. At its core, Iconoclasts nails what makes a great Metroidvania: precise platforming, clever puzzles, and varied combat encounters. Robin's wrench isn't just her weapon, it's her everything. You'll use it to fight enemies, unlock new paths, and interact with the environment in creative ways. But what truly makes Iconoclasts stand out is its storytelling. It's deeply human, exploring themes of faith, purpose, and rebellion with surprising maturity and emotional impact. The dialogue is sharp, the characters feel real, and the world's lore unfolds beautifully. As you play visually, the game bursts with charm. Detailed pixel art, expressive animations, and vibrant hand-drawn environments that bring every corner of its world to life. If you love games that mix thoughtful storytelling with satisfying gameplay, Iconoclasts is an underrated masterpiece, heartfelt, challenging, and unforgettable. The Messenger. The Messenger starts as a simple, nostalgic tribute to classic 8-bit ninja platformers, but then it flips everything you expect on its head. Developed by Sabotage Studio, this game begins as a fast-paced, linear action title and evolves into a full-blown Metroidvania halfway through. Packed with clever twists, humor, and incredible design. You play as a young ninja tasked with delivering a sacred scroll across a cursed world. A straightforward setup that quickly spirals into a time-traveling adventure spanning both 8-bit and 16-bit eras. The game's biggest trick is how it seamlessly shifts between these two art styles, using the transition not just as a visual gimmick, but as a core gameplay mechanic. The combat and movement feel buttery smooth. Wall running, slashing, and cloud stepping through enemies is endlessly satisfying. Every new ability opens up fresh paths, and the backtracking never feels like a chore, thanks to how responsive and fun the traversal is. But The Messenger isn't just about great gameplay. It's genuinely funny. The dialogue is sharp, self-aware, and full of personality, from the sarcastic shopkeeper to the ridiculous plot twists that playfully poke fun at gaming tropes. The soundtrack deserves special mention too, an absolute banger filled with retro energy that perfectly matches the pace and vibe of every area. In short, The Messenger is more than a throwback. It's a love letter to classic games that still feels fresh, challenging, and full of heart. A must-play for anyone who loves fast, fluid, and clever design. Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong is easily one of the most anticipated Metroidvania sequels of all time, and for good reason. Developed by Team Cherry, it takes everything that made the original Hollow Knight a modern classic and flips the perspective, putting you in control of Hornet, the fierce and agile protector from the first game. This time, you're not exploring the depths of Hallownest. You're climbing through the kingdom of Farloom, a shimmering yet deadly world filled with new enemies, secrets, and challenges. Where the original game was slow, methodical, and melancholy, Silksong feels faster, sharper, and more elegant. Hornet moves like lightning, vaulting, flipping, and striking with a dancer's grace, giving the combat a thrilling sense of momentum. The world design remains as stunning as ever. Every area drips with atmosphere, handcrafted detail, and hidden lore waiting to be uncovered. The haunting soundtrack, composed by Christopher Larkin, promises to once again capture that signature mix of mystery and melancholy that defined the first game. What's most exciting is how Silksong builds upon the foundation of its predecessor while carving its own identity. The focus on vertical exploration, crafting, and new quest systems gives it a fresh rhythm, one that rewards mastery and curiosity in equal measure. If Hollow Knight was about despair and endurance, Silksong feels like a story of grace and resilience, a new symphony in the same haunting tune. And that's our look at some of the best Metroidvania and side-scrolling adventures out there, each one offering stunning art, emotional stories, and addictive gameplay. If you enjoyed the list, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more awesome game recommendations.